L'initiative engagée dans le développement de la musique collective. Des adhésions gratuites sont disponibles dès maintenant. La nation de la musique collective, une seule voix, la force dans l'unité.
Your number one local radio station.
L'initiative engagée dans le développement de la musique collective.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show today. My name is Patrick O. Morris, and this is the Black Abbots Radio Hour. Hoping that you guys are doing really well and having a good day. It was a pretty nice day today. It was really nice and sunny outside, so this was good. I woke up this morning, and although it was damn cold, it still looked pretty good at least. So today on the show, I've got my resident once a month guest, Joel, from Forever Fit by Joel. We're going to be talking about health. Joel, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hi, Patrick.
Hey, how you doing?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How are you?
I'm great, thanks.
Great. Thanks for joining in the show today. So we're, again, for those who might be just joining us for the first time, meeting me and Joel. So once a month, we spend some time, we talk about health and, what's going on within different aspects of health. And so today we're going to be talking about a few things. We're going to talk a little bit about food and nutrition, dieting, exercising, living a healthy lifestyle. And Joel's my co-host for the day today. Reluctantly, she doesn't like to call herself a co-host, but she's my co-host for the day. And Joel, so what's going on in your world of fitness?
So right now I am currently doing my Pilates and training clients. I also work in the healthcare in the hospital. So I'm also working with patients, helping them get back on their feet. And my day gig, and also return back to function in occupational therapy.
So you've got quite a lot on your plate.
Yeah.
So, always a pleasure you taking some time out to come and hang out with us. So let's just let's take a deep dive into this, and let's talk a little bit about food and nutrition. And I've often hear a lot of personal trainers, a lot of exercise gurus and health gurus talk about the importance of nutrition and staying away from the inner aisles of the grocery store. And that, try to stay on the outer aisles where most of the more fresh things are located, keeping away from the prepackaged stuff. So maybe you could talk a little bit about that, from your experience being in the industry as to why that might be a good idea.
Well, number one, you want to always eat health. First of all, you want to establish a healthy and happy relationship with food. So, because
I have a very healthy, happy relationship with food. I love food.
Yes, because I love food too, because food is the center of everything. Food brings us together through thick and thin. So you always want to make sure, first and foremost, that you understand why you're putting certain foods into your body. How is it going to benefit your body? And what it's going to do for you, health-wise, nutrition-wise, how is it fueling your body, right? So first you want to understand that before you if you're starting on a regime to get yourself back healthy and fit, right? So that's the first thing to do. So when you go into the grocery store, it's important because not everyone is going to eat fresh. Like, we have to be realistic here, right? You have your certain cravings, but at the same time, you also want to know how to distinguish between good and bad foods from the box. Like, ideally, you want to stay away from the box, right? But if you are going to pick something from the box, you want to know how to read your labels correctly, because advertisements, they always put on the front of the box, fat-free, light, and those little gimmicks, gluten-free. And some people don't even know what it means. They just think, gluten-free, right? It's fat-free, it's light. I'm just going to jump on it. But you also need to turn the box over and be able to read the labels correctly. So first thing you want to see
when my Oreo cookies say, fat-free, that's not a good thing.
Yeah. Well, it's okay. Have one cookie. I'm not saying yes. I'm trying to you want to live a balanced life, right? Mm-hmm. So if you love your Oreos, sure, have an Oreo. But at the same time, you want to understand that your Oreo cookie is not the best choice. But if you're going to make that choice, sure. But you also want to know how many Oreos should you intake? You know, some people might sit down, they're watching a football game, and just before you know it, by commercial, half the box is gone. So what I was saying was, you want to know what your serving size is when you're reading the box. What is the serving size in the box? The box may say this package is 8 servings. So imagine if you ate the whole box. You just ate 8 servings, right? So you also want to look at how many fats, the carbohydrates, the sugars, sodium. So those are the things you want to be educated about once you're starting on your fitness journey and you go into the grocery store.
Okay, so you want to get an idea as to, well, I guess spend a little bit of time reading the label to make sure that. But then, what exactly are you looking for? If like the first word in there is some kind of sugar.
Yes. If the first few ingredients is sugar, ideally just put it back. Just put it back on the shelf, because there's right, dextrose and glucose and anything with an "ose" on the end, sugar. Okay. Enriched. All those are the key things you want to look for. Enriched, the oses, anything you can't pronounce, all chemicals. But what I'm saying is, okay, as an adult, like you want to, I feel like everything you need a balance, right? And if you're going to make sometimes I might crave, I don't know, a cookie. I'm not going to deprive myself of that. But at the same time, I'm not going to eat the whole box. So, you just want to make sure that you are trying to eat as healthy and as natural as possible. Yeah. So, right? That's the ideal. Ideally, natural as possible, fruits, vegetables, your meats, lean meats, a well-balanced diet. And if you do feel like you are on your fitness journey, I would say first go get a consult, go get a checkup, make sure that everything is in check, and then you could start off, right? Because then you'll know what foods that you really need to lower the intake of.
So when you think about healthy eating habits, what would you say are some of the key things for that? You hear there's always, eat lots of carbs, don't eat carbs, eat once a day after 3 o'clock on a full moon on a Friday. There's like all these different things out there. Eat protein, don't eat protein, only eat potatoes, only oranges. Like there's like so many.
It's all very confusing. Like what I do, I'm a pescatarian. I don't eat meat. But yeah, there's so many different fad diets. But what I would say is, if it's a lifestyle change, that means lifestyle, something you want to stick with for the rest of your life, right? Some of these diets, if I'm a meat eater and I'm going to restrict all meat, or I'm going to not eat any fruits and just eat meat, or just, is that realistic goal to stick with if that's a lifestyle change?
Yeah.
No, right? So intermittent dieting. How long could the average person go with not eating for, 18 hours or?
Yeah, so it's like something like you stop eating, I don't know, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and you don't eat anything until like 1 o'clock the next day, or I don't know. There's all these.
Exactly, right? So there's these diets that are unrealistic, and I've been there, done that. And so at a point where I had to be real with myself. I had to sit myself down and say, Joel, is this something that you can live with for the rest of your life? It's something that, because you don't want to, if my goal is to lose a certain amount of weight or get fit, I want to stick with something I can live with. I don't want to be restrictive. Everyone has friends. They want to enjoy their company. You can't be on a diet where you're drinking water all day for 12 hours, or you're fasting on a lemonade diet for God knows when, right? You want to stick with, so for healthy eating, I would say find something that works for you. So you have to know your body. You have to have a relationship with, what foods work for you. Right? You've lived with yourself for how many years? You know what works for you. You know what your body can digest well, what it doesn't digest well, your allergens. So you have to know your relationship with your body and food.
Um,
That's
that, you hear about people who the whole eat gluten, don't eat gluten. If you want to lose weight, then you're supposed to join these clubs or get this
yes.
app, all this sort of stuff. And it can be a little bit overwhelming because there's like so much information that's being thrown at people. For somebody who might come to you for a consult or something like that you're going to be working with or developing some kind of a exercise program with them, what type of advice would you say around food for them to say, hey, you might want to start here?
I always say start with getting a physical first,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't know, you want to know your baseline, right? You may not know that you have high cholesterol or you're diabetic, pre-diabetic. So you want to have a baseline first, making sure that everything you're checked out, and then you can work from there, because there's people that are walking bomb, right? You don't know. They don't know they have high cholesterol, because the physical doesn't always determine what's going on inside your body.
So you might look good and everything and
yeah,
feel
exactly.
good. There might be stuff that's going wrong.
Exactly. You see a lot of guys in the gym and they're muscle bound, chiseled, and then you hear, God forbid, they drop with a heart attack, right? You always want to have that baseline of going and getting your physical done, check, make sure your sugars, your cholesterol, all that's in check. And then you can start from there. Then I could say, okay, you know what? Have you had a physical done? Yes. So my doctor says that, Joel, I have to watch my cholesterol, or I have to watch my sodium intake, or you know what, my doctor says I'm good to go. I could just start with my exercise program or eating, just trying to eat a healthy, balanced lifestyle and something that works for me. Right.
So first thing, going to your doctor and getting checked out to make sure that whatever exercise you're about to do, your body's going to be able to handle it.
Exactly.
Okay.
You want foods, and then you want to find out what their diet is, right? People don't know that I don't eat meat. So I can't say, oh, okay, well, you should have a lean piece of chicken because Mr. Susie doesn't eat chicken. So you kind of first have to start off with their dietary into what they eat, what foods they like to eat, and then you can go from there.
Okay, so again, it's stay away from the processed items in the middle of the grocery store. Check in with your doctor to make sure that if you are going to start an exercise routine, that your body's going to be able to manage that. And then you can also figure out, in terms of the type of foods that you're going to eat, whether or not you have any pre-existing conditions that you might need to modify certain things with. This might be a no-brainer, but most people we think that we can cook, so is there much value in going into like speaking with a dietitian about different types of foods?
For sure, definitely, because they're a professional and they can figure out what they can do, the math for you, break it down for you in simpler terms, make it more basic, because it is more, if you already overwhelmed that you're overweight or something's going on, you already have that you're dealing with. You don't want the other obstacle of having to try to figure out how to manage your meals and how much calories you need to intake to get to that goal weight or goal of health, right? So speaking to a dietitian or a nutritionist is always, ideal. And then you can go from there. They can kind of just do the labor for you, right?
Yeah, it might really sound really silly, but a few years ago, when I had gone in for a checkup, or one of the times I went in for a checkup, and my doctor said, you've gained a little bit of weight, and I said yes. He goes, well, do you want to lose weight? And I said, yeah, I think that's a good idea. So he looked at me dead in the eye and says, so if you want to lose weight, eat less calories than you burn. And when he said that to me, I kind of looked at him like, really? That's the advice that you're giving me? But then I actually thought about it and realized that I had never thought about it like that. It's obvious, yes, you eat less calories than you burn, but I had never actually thought about how many calories I eat in a day. And then when I left his office and really started thinking about it and looking at, I'm West Indian, I like my oxtail, and curry goat and everything else that is Jamaican or Trini or Guyanese,
Exactly. That's what I'm trying to say, because people, they have that, oh, I'm going to go for a run. So I'm going to reward myself with, I don't know, a curry roti. Like for me, that's my thing. But I know that roti is not something that I can eat every day. All right. I grew up in a household where the main dish every day was rice. Right. And rice and bread and roti and puluri and all those things are delicious. But then at the same time, just because you go to the gym doesn't mean you're going to burn off that, because you have to realize how much calories does it take to burn 1 pound, right? You might even run down the street and you still can't even burn off a chocolate bar. So it's like you said, the math, you have to burn more than you intake if you want to lose weight.
I guess running after the ice cream truck doesn't count because
no. Unless you're gonna no. Don't make me snort.
So when you think about healthy eating habits, just kind of round this section off here, what would you recommend to somebody who's starting off? They might be, they're looking at themselves in the mirror and be like, you boy, I could lose 20, 30 pounds or something like that. And I need to get some exercise in here, but I need to start to really manage my eating habits and sort of change that. Now, I know they say, what is it? You got to do something for like 21 days before it becomes a habit or change a habit or something in and around that.
I would say for them, I always tell people you should do a journal, because sometimes you don't even realize what you intake in one day, right? Until you actually write it down. There's a lot of people tell me, oh, I eat super healthy, Joel. And I'm like, really? Well, that bagel, that granola bar, that coffee, double cream, extra sugar, until they actually write it down, they see it visually, they don't realize that they're not eating as healthy as they think they are. So a journal is always the good way to start for people to tell me, oh, I'm eating super healthy, but I look at them and I'm like, yeah.
You just talked my coffee right there. What's up with that?
No, because people don't realize double cream, double sugar is not healthy. Right? So it's always nice to start off with a journal. If you have that visual, it makes more sense to people.
Well, that's, having said that, that's a lot of I would say, the little things that sometimes we don't really think about.
Exactly.
When I used to go in the office, there would be, a couple coffee breaks for the day that'd be in the office, and you'd see people, they would go and they'd have maybe 3-4 cups of coffee, and they might have 2 or 3 sugars in their coffee. That's a lot of sugar intake.
Exactly. Plus cream or milk. And the biggest thing for me too, when I first started working at the hospital, I used to love Raisin Bran muffins or carrot muffins, fresh, the tops, beautiful, my favorite treat. I used to think I was eating healthy. No.
That's right. It's bran.
Those muffins, yeah, you think bran, muffin, healthy, better than a donut? No. And that's one of the things, that's why some people get pulled into, oh, I'm eating healthy, because they don't realize a bran muffin, those muffins aren't healthy. Sometimes even a donut, a plain donut's actually better, more nutritious or has less calories than that muffin, I should say.
Yeah, it's back to a lot of those little things that we don't think about. And
just being educated too, right? So now I find, which is great, is the labels and them. Even if you go to Tim Hortons, when you're able, like if you ever go to Timmy's, you'll see that they tell you how much calories are in a Timbit. And that's just a deterrent for me. Just walking and seeing, oh, that one Timbit is 90 calories.
Yes, they put in a Krispy Kreme
right
near my house, and realize that eating one donut is like my calorie intake for the week.
Exactly. So that's why I was going back to a dietitian could tell you, well, Joel, you need to have whatever, say 1,800 calories per day, then you can kind of do the math when you start to read your labels, and you can see an apple's how much calories. If I do choose to have a donut, what am I going to cut back?
Yeah. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. And then when we come back, we're going to keep talking a little bit about, the difference between diet and exercising and the importance, or, do they work against each other? Do they work together? How does it actually work? So I'm going to take a quick commercial break.
This is Jamie Sparks, and you're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio.
Hey, this is Jermaine Robbins, and you're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio.
Yo, this is Kiana O'Quinn, and you're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio.
This is Lavinia J from the UK, and you're listening to iLive Radio.
Attention, all musicians, bands, associations, clubs, and organizations that represent collective styles of music across Canada. Now is the time to rebuild our collective music nation. Genres like hip-hop, R&B, jazz, soul, reggae, gospel, and more united. The Collective Music Nation is a non-profit organization committed to the development of collective music. Free memberships are available now. Collective Music Nation, one voice, strength in unity.
This is Miss Care keeping you connected with your iLive 5x5, brought to you by iLive Music, sponsored by Independent Hype, and powered by The Hook Entertainment. Contribute to the conversation by using hashtag iLive5x5.
For the latest and greatest in soul music and more, stay tuned to iLive Radio throughout the week.
Connect with our team at iliveradio.com or follow us at iLive Radio across social platforms.
The number one hit music station.
You're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio. iLive Radio.
Welcome back to the show, everyone. I'm Patrick O'Morris, and this is the Black Habits Radio Hour. And my guest tonight, my co-host tonight, is Joel for Fit by Joel. So, so we talked a little bit about getting some healthy eating habits, diet and exercise. Now, obviously, diet and exercise is something that works very well together. But some people, they exercise a ton and then they have poor eating habits. Their diet is just horrible. And then some people have extremely good diet, so they eat well, but then they don't really do any exercise. So I just want us to talk a little bit about what some of the impacts are, because there are some people who gain weight simply because they're sitting around not doing anything. They may not necessarily be eating garbage. It's just they're not doing anything, and so their body is kind of just chilling. Your thoughts?
So my thoughts are, first and foremost, if you're going to exercise, you need foods that will fuel your body, right? That as soon as you jump on that treadmill, 2 minutes after, you're not dying. So you want to make sure that you're getting in enough water, because as you exercise, you're losing water, you're losing salts. You want to have foods that'll give you enough fuel to get through. So they always people that eat oatmeal, they always suggest eating things that'll give you that substance so you can get through a good workout, right? And at the same time, remember now, especially during this time with COVID and the winter weather, you also want to protect your body. You want to put up your defense mechanism. So you want to get foods that are rich in vitamin C, foods that are rich in vitamin D, because a lot of, especially women, they say that are not getting enough vitamin D, right? So you want to also look for those kind of foods. So not just when you think vitamin C, people always run to get orange juice. There's also foods that you can intake, like bell peppers, say your other leafy vegetables that you can get your vitamin C in, vitamin D. And another thing that's most important is keeping your body alkaline, right? Because you want to fight off pathogens and things that will harm the body, anti-inflammatory. So things like that are foods that you want to intake, because when you're exercising, especially through the winter, your chances are your body gets depleted of minerals and vitamins, and you want to keep that up, especially during this time with COVID going on, and also burning a lot of energy and fuel, right? Your body tends to, sometimes people don't even sleep well, right? So there's a lot of things that play in place of your health. So sleeping, the mental, like, or do you really want to work out? Do you really want to eat these foods? You have to make peace with all these pieces in order to be healthy. So it's not just what you're taking in and what exercise, it's also the relationship with the food, the relationship with your body, what your goals are. Are you ready to do this? Do you have a good support program with you, system? And you can't get into the gym. So what are other things that you can do if you can't get into the gym? Because a lot of people, their excuse is, oh, well, the gym is closed. What else am I going to do? Right? So if that's really your goal, then you're going to find other ways. So eating, making sure you're getting in those foods that will fuel the body, that's also giving you the, like I said, the properties that will help protect you against the germs out there, pathogens out there that are destroying your body or breaking it down, right? So making sure you get those in.
I know some people that they don't exercise a day in their life. But when I look at them and they're cut, they're lean, they eat pretty well, but they don't exercise at all. And I'm like, why can't that be me? I don't eat a whole lot of junk. Occasionally I do, but I don't really eat a whole lot of junk. And I'm pretty active, and it's like, I have to work, and I see some people and I'm like, what the hell, man?
Because also too, like I said, some people, they work out, they eat healthy, and they still can't lose weight because at the same time, they may have very poor sleeping habits, and sleep is huge. People don't realize that sleep is a huge factor, because if you don't sleep, your body can't repair itself, right? If you're very stressed, your body, that also affects your body. So that's why I say there's key factors. There's the mental, right? The physical, there's posture, there's 5 key components, they say, to a good, healthy body, right? So I can work out every day of the week and eat healthy, and I'm like, why can't I lose this 10 pounds? Whereas my friend over here just chilling is ripped, right? Because, and also it's genetics, right? And water, some people hold on to water. So it's making sure you have to look at, that's why it's nice to get that physical done, figure out what is my struggle, am I not sleeping? So there's little things your body kind of gives triggers and tells you, your body speaks to you, and people just don't listen to it. They refuse to listen to their body. And I don't sleep well, so then I have to figure out, why am I not sleeping well, right? And then maybe it could be that person has sleep apnea, right? And that could be, once they get that figured out, everything else starts to play in place, comes together, connects. So that's why you need to listen to your body and see what's going on. Am I not sleeping? Am I digesting my food? Why is my stomach bloated? Why do I have headaches all the time? Am I irritable? Do I have, so it's not just what you eat and you exercise. It's a whole mind, body, soul connection that takes part in your whole health.
So, I guess the type of food you eat will could impact your motivation for you to get out and do some exercise. But then also you getting out and do exercise is also going to impact, what your body is going to be craving and the type of foods that you're going to need. So there's a cycle that's there that I think a lot of times we don't consider. If you're exercising a lot, then your body is going to be more tired, so you're going to need more sleep. You are going to need to add more nutrients to your diet to be able to sustain the exercise that you're doing. So there's a cycle that we often don't think about. Don't know how they do it, but then sometimes it's like they're ready to pass out because
exactly. Your body will crash, and how will it repair itself, right? So, like they say, sugars, for instance, your body can live without those sugars. If you eliminate the bad sugars, you can live a healthier life, and you'll be less tired after you play. Like I used to play soccer. I grew up playing soccer, and yeah, you want to have a good solid, like maybe carbs, like they'll say have pasta half an hour before, because that'll give you enough fuel to get through that soccer game. So you're running up and down all for the whole hour, right? So you want to kind of stay away from sugars. I would definitely tell somebody if they want to have a good workout to try to stay away from the sugars and have more foods that will give them the
why should they stay away from sugars? Because people might be thinking that I take the sugar, it's going to give me energy.
Yes, it's very temporary. So the sugar, like you have a chocolate bar, I'll give you that rush of energy, and then within 10 minutes, you're dying. Whereas you can have, something that will fuel them, to help them get through that hour workout instead of crashing after 10 minutes. Because you don't want to be like spike and then all of a sudden you just crash. You want something that will give you that fuel throughout your workout.
So then investigating different types of foods that are gonna, break down more slowly through your metabolism, as opposed to getting that quick hit and then and then you're crashing and again, when I used to go to the office a lot, there's a lot of people that I would see that I would work with, and in the afternoon, people are crashing. That at lunchtime they would have had something with a lot of sugar in it, and then by 2:00 they want to pass out. You're walking through and people are yawning like crazy and trying to stay awake, and now they're going to get another coffee with another couple of sugars.
Exactly. And you also have to know, you can also play around with foods, right? So once you establish what foods are going to give you the fuel, then you could try different foods and see what works best for you, what you can work out with. Because what you may eat and be able to fuel you for your run or your workout might not work for me, right? So that's why it's good to kind of, trial different foods and see how your body reacts to it.
Maybe what about things like, they have those, you've got protein shakes that you're supposed to take after you work out. And then there's the pre-workout shake that you can take.
There's a lot of things out there. Yes. So from my experience, I like to have a shake in the morning.
During workout stuff, and then the after workout stuff.
I see. I can't really talk about that. I know for myself, I usually have a shake to supplement my breakfast, because I'm not a big breakfast person. So with the protein, I like to use all natural protein. So that just comes from plants or from legumes. And then I usually add my own, say, chopped up spinach or fresh fruits or frozen fruits and almond milk. So I don't drink dairy, so I'll drink almond milk. So I'll add that with ice. And that's what I'll have as my breakfast. I also supplement it for my lunch. But I'm not familiar with the pre-shakes and the post-shakes. And I'm not sure.
I think they're supposed to give you energy during your workout. So that you can, you don't start to crash and burn in the middle of your workout. And then the protein stuff afterwards, I'm no expert at this, but this is, some stuff that I've read. And then the after workout stuff is supposed to give you that added protein to help your body recover afterwards. But, a lot of the folks who do that sort of stuff, they're training hardcore, There's also a certain level of I don't know, you call it anxiety or frustration that some people feel when they go into the gym. Like I've talked to a lot of people and they're like, I don't want to go to the gym because, everybody that's there makes me look bad because everybody's so fit. And, they don't even know why those people are going to the gym because they don't need to lose anything. So there's a certain level of discouragedness, I guess, if that's a word, that people run into at times with wanting to go to the gym to work out because they're comparing themselves to other people.
Yes, I hear you. And that's another thing too. So if that's the case, then chances are you're not going to go to the gym,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's where you have to make peace with yourself and say, what works for me? If I go to the gym, I'm gonna feel a certain ways about my appearance because I see the other girls in the change room and they're super fit and they have the nicest gym wear and they're posing and God knows what they do. I see it all the time too.
They got their Instagram going, you know?
Right? Yes, exactly. I see it all the time, but it doesn't affect me because I know what my goal is and I go and I can zone it out. But for people that have an issue with, feeling, I don't know, inferior to those women, or maybe guys looking at them and they're just not happy with their body, then I would say find something else to go, some other facility to go to, or the outdoors, or find a gym buddy that will go for a walk with you, and you can there's resistance bands and things like that you can use outdoors, so you don't necessarily have to be in the gym. So you know what I mean? The gym is not your only outlet to getting fit. And that's why I always try to enforce. There's studios, personal training studios, Pilates studios, where you can reap the same benefits. And it might be more personal. They'll hire a personal trainer where they could see you one-on-one in a private room. So there's different, outlets to getting fit. There's no excuses why you shouldn't take care of your health, because your health matters, right? And I try to instill that in anybody comes to me for help, is that your health is first and foremost priority, and not to make any excuses, because gym, I haven't been to the gym in over a year now.
Mm-hmm.
But sorry, you're gonna talk.
No. I think a lot. That's been the case for a lot of people. Especially with COVID. There's so many. I know last summer, the city of Toronto had blocked off certain roads, and they were encouraging people to get out and walk or run or bike or do activities outside, especially because all the gyms were closed. And at the same time, while the city was encouraging all of that, there's a lot of people who were stuck in their houses who just didn't feel motivated to go out, who's gained a certain amount of COVID weight, who, just like I've gained my COVID beard, who might be struggling now because they're thinking, okay, so the gyms are going to be opening soon. I need to lose some of this COVID weight because now I might actually be able to go outside and do stuff. But they're struggling with the mindset because either getting up early or making time during the day for something that is not normally a part of their everyday life. It can be a little bit daunting or challenging. Like maybe we could talk a little bit about this in terms of, what some people I hear, and oftentimes it's you need to do like 30 minutes of exercise a day. And another, it's like, no, you can break it up, do 10 minutes here, 20 minutes there. You can do 45 minutes a day, or, all kinds of different thoughts out there, schools of thoughts out there, but for somebody who wants to live an active physical lifestyle, like what would dare I say the bare minimum be?
30 minutes per day. It's 30 minutes. They highly recommend 5 days a week. You need to do something that will get your heart rate up.
So I can sneak up on the weekends.
On the weekends, something that, even if you have stairs if you say you live in a condominium, you can go to the stairwell, walk the stairs. I did that when I was in the hospital. I was there for a week and I just walked the stairs. Chances are you won't see a lot of people in the stairwell. So just walking up a few flights of stairs, 4 floors, up and down.
Nobody's going to find me when I'm dying in the middle of the stairs.
Well, there's outdoors, you can bundle up. It's even better, that it's cold outside, you burn more calories because your body requires more energy to heat it up. So going for a nice brisk walk, not like a leisure pace sightseeing, a nice brisk walk.
Okay, so 30 minutes a day, at least a brisk walk.
Yeah. There's chores around the house, cleaning your house. You'd be surprised how you can get your heart rate up.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Now they things like they have these watches now that you can get to kind of count your steps.
Yes.
Are those really something that I guess it can be helpful because it sort of it forces you to start to pay attention.
It's a mental thing. For me, it was a mental thing. I was addicted. Just having that watch on, even though I was doing it regardless, it's just the thought, oh my God, I did 13,000 steps today. I want to get to 20,000 steps. It just motivated me to even walk more or do more because I wanted to get to that goal. So every day or every week, I was like, well, I did 15,000 consistently this week. My next goal is to get it up to 20,000. Then I was up to 25,000 steps, right? So I think it's just psychological, just seeing the numbers kind of just motivated me to even like get a group of people. And we're just like, oh, how many steps did you do today? And it also tracks your sleep. Like some of them track everything. They'll tell you when to exercise, your heart rate, your sleep patterns. Like their technology is amazing now.
Actually, for Christmas, my kids got me one. And I used to just wear it when I was going to exercise. And then when I downloaded the app, I realized that it actually tracked a whole whack of different things that I had not thought about before. And one of them is the sleep thing. Now we're going to take a commercial breaks in a few minutes. So, but when we do come back, I'm going to talk about the whole sleep thing that I totally it blew me away when I really started to pay attention to it and realize I have no idea how this thing works. I got to put that out there. I have no idea how it tells when I'm sleeping from when I'm not sleeping, or, when I'm in a REM state from when I'm not in a REM state. I don't have a clue how that works, but it really, really started to change my thinking about my sleeping. And I always thought that, I'm a pretty good sleeper. But when I started looking at the data that this thing was spitting out, it really, really, really surprised me. And it's we'll get into it in a couple minutes after this commercial break. So I'm Patrick O'Morris, and sitting with me today is Joel from Joel's Pilates.
Hi, this is Michonne Young, and you're listening to iLive Radio, supporting independent artists from all around.
This is Ronnie Sia, and you're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio, listen to radio, listen to radio.
It goes down right here on iLive Radio. Yo, this is Razan here, and you're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way we listen to radio.
What's up, everybody? This is Cy Smith, and you're listening to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio.
My beautiful people, it's your man Tayanis, and right now you got it locked to iLive Radio, changing the way you listen to radio around the world, baby.
Nothing makes you look, feel, and perform better than a tailor-made suit. Just like a tailor-made suit, a mortgage is not a one-size-fits-all solution. Canadian Tailored Mortgage Solutions will customize a mortgage to perfectly suit your needs. Come and get fitted for your mortgage today at 1-877-834-9346 or reach us on the web at ctmortgagesolutions.com. COVID safety protocols are in place. Brokerage license number 13228.
This is Miss Care keeping you connected with your iLive 5x5, brought to you by iLive Music, sponsored by Independent Hype, and powered by The Hook Entertainment. Contribute to the conversation by using hashtag iLive5x5.
For the latest and greatest in soul music and more, stay tuned to iLive Radio throughout the week.
Connect with our team at iliveradio.com or follow us at iLive Radio across social platforms.
You're listening to iLive Radio.
Here are some words of wisdom. Don't change your station. Don't change your station.
Welcome back. I'm Patrick O'Morris on the Black Habits Radio Hour. And again, with my guest this evening, Joel from Forever Fit by Joel Pilates. Okay, so Joel, before the commercial, I was saying my kids bought me this watch. And because, I started working out and they were trying to be encouraging and all that sort of stuff to me. And so I would only wear it when I was working out because I was only tracking my exercise for the day. But then when I downloaded the app and started looking at all the different things that it monitored, like my heart rate and damn thing, even my breathing. I have no idea how it does that. It monitored my sleeping. It monitored how many hours of sleep I got. It also could tell when I was in deep sleep, when I was REM, when I woke up, all sorts of stuff. And what I began to notice was that there were times throughout the night that it said that I woke up for like a minute, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, things like that, that I had no idea that I was waking up. And because I'm half asleep, we're all half asleep, so we don't even really realize. But then, so as I started really analyzing this for myself, I realized that although I thought I was getting really good sleep, I began to realize that there were so many times throughout the night that I woke up that my body went from deep sleep to awake. And then my body's now has to shut down to go back to deep sleep again. And I can't recall. It's rare that I don't fall asleep. Like I'm pretty good, when I'm tired, I'm pretty good at just going to sleep. It's rare that I'd be up all night thinking or whatever. But this app really shifted my thinking and made me start to, I guess, be more aware and be more mindful because it tracked how many hours I was sleeping.
Exactly. The Fitbit, that's the one I had.
So sometimes it's like you like sometimes I'll go to bed and I'll wake up and I feel completely well rested and I realize I only slept for like 6 hours, but I feel great. And then there are other days that I've slept for 7 or 8 hours and I get up and I feel horrible. But then when I go back and I look at the data, I realize when I did get that 6 hours sleep, it was much better quality than when I had that 8 hours. And then I started to look at things like, what did I do on that particular day? Or what did I eat before I went to bed? And I begun to see that there were certain things that if I ate that before I went to bed, I'd fall asleep, but my quality of sleep would be very different. So, when we talk about sleep having an impact on our health and living a healthy lifestyle, if my kids hadn't given me that watch to wear, I would never have really put a lot of the connections together that I started to paying attention, or even just realizing just how much during the day that we actually do walk when I'm not trying to exercise. Not that it shouldn't be trying to get some more exercise in, but it really having a tool to help you to manage what it is that you're trying to accomplish does go a long way. Anyways, that's my rant about my Christmas gift for my kid.
Yes, that's what I was saying. Plays a huge part is those connections, those pieces. And that's why it's good to have a conversation. I like to have a conversation with a client when they ask me, what should I do to get fit or just eating? And that's why I try to really, really instill in them. It's not just the food and the exercise, it's the sleeping, how you're sleeping. So you want to have that conversation. How are you sleeping? Like you said, you might say, oh, I'm an amazing sleeper, Joel. But yeah, you look at your watch and you maybe had 3 powerful hours of sleep, right? Because the same thing, I looked at my watch too, and I was shocked that, yeah, I only had 2 hours of real sleep, but I was in bed for 6 hours, right? So then how does your body repair itself when you're only getting 2 hours of sleep and you're going like that for weeks and weeks and years? Or there's people that have other conditions like sleep apnea, and it's how they're breathing. They're not getting enough oxygen in the blood, right? And that's what I teach with Pilates, that how to breathe correctly. There's people that don't realize, I see them, they're chest breathers or they're belly breathers. So that means their body's not getting the full oxygenation it needs to, to fill those blood cells. So it's like important in how you breathe as well. Are you getting that sleep? Then it's the food. So everything connects, right? To get that full circle of health.
This goes back to, excuse me, a lot of these things that we often don't really stop and think about that impact our health over a long term. Because, there's various studies that showed that if you don't get enough sleep at night, that leads to other health issues. Excuse me. That leads to other health issues. If you don't get enough exercise movement, that leads to health issues down the road.
Joint pain and
all kinds of stuff. If you don't eat properly, that leads, everywhere you turn, if you're not doing a lot of these things, that it does impact your health. If you don't go to the doctor and get a physical and checkup, every once in a while, it's like having a car and never changing the oil or never taking it for your maintenance. You're going to have some problems down the road. And within the Black community, a lot of times there's a certain fear and anxiety that exists with us going to the doctor for our regular checkups. I had somebody once tell me, I don't like going to the doctor because every time I go to the doctor, they find something wrong.
Yes.
I'm like, that's because you're only going to the doctor like every 10 years or when you feel like something is wrong.
And that's the thing I think I was mentioning to you or somebody else the other day. That's what I find with the Black culture, like my parents' generation. And it really angers me because your body, you have to take care of your body, like how you take care of your car or something you really care about. You love plants, you water every day, you sing to it, you talk to it, you nurture it. And why can't you do the same thing for your body? Why do you wait so for instance, like I'll just give an example, someone that's been working for 40 years that has full health benefit package, but never utilize the massage benefits or the physio, but they have aches and pains. And no, they wait till we retire, the package is done, and then, I should have went for that massage. And I think it really angers me. It really frustrates me because why not take care of your body? That's the tool that's taking you around from point A to point B. Take care of your body. You feel that pain, or go for your regular checkups. Go see a physiotherapist, you have the coverage, go for a massage. All those things need to be in tune. Your body gets unbalanced, just like how you have to balance your tires and balance your car for it to run straight. You need to balance your body. If your body's not balanced, you're not evenly distributing the weight, and that happens weight bearing on your bones, on your joints incorrectly. It's going to start to take effect on your body. Right?
It's very true. Like I have a friend who, it's almost like you had to put him in a chokehold to get him to go see the doctor. And it wasn't until, stuff was happening with him that it was like, oh, maybe I should go and, get some things checked out. And when he got stuff checked out and he was shocked with the responses, it was like, oh, okay, well, I'm just hoping that he continues on the process that he's going on to make sure that he's around for a while. Otherwise, I'll have to get someone else to put him in a chokehold to make sure he deals with
also too, the other thing that angers me is the vanity or pride I find in the Black culture. The doctor will say, first and foremost, the shoes. Shoes is a thing. And, why am I going to spend $300 on a good pair of running shoes? Because your footwear is very important. And if your doctor tells you, maybe you might need to walk with a cane or something to help balance you. No, God forbid someone, your neighbor or a friend sees them walk with a cane. And that's going to, so certain things like that, people just have that pride and, that they, especially and I find, and from my personal experience with parents or relatives or people in the Black community, they're waiting literally till their knees buckle on them before they'll use a cane, because it's just that pride of someone seeing them. If Susie sees me in the groceries with a cane, I'm going to look old.
but you
You
are old.
know? Right? So they rather limp and start getting bad knees, then bad hips, then the back, and everything travels from the feet up. But just for vanity and pride, God forbid, their buddy sees them walk with a cane to straighten up, to help balance their body.
Yeah, there is certainly a lot of, but then, you know, on the flip side of this, there's also a certain level of paranoia and fear that there is within the Black community in and around the medical system, right? There has not been necessarily that great of a relationship in the past, right? And so a lot of older folks struggle with that. Some are very good, you know, they will listen, they will take their medication, they will do what they're supposed to do, and others are very standoffish when it comes to that. But you know, I'd say if you're listening to us right now, you know, and every time we do a health segment, I will always repeat this like a broken record, and that is, you know, listen to your body. If something does not feel right, be your own advocate. If you go to your doctor and you mention something and your doctor is not taking it seriously, then go get a second opinion, because you are your only advocate. You're the only person that's living in your body, the only one that kind of knows what's going on. And if something doesn't feel right, don't just allow someone else to kind of brush you off, because that happens a lot of the times as well. Is I hear stories about patients going to see their doctor and their doctor is not taking them seriously, and then in the end, you know, they find out that there was something that was actually seriously wrong with them. So you have to be your own advocate. You have to stand up for yourself and push that agenda. If you feel that something is not right, if you feel that something is not working, then by all means, do your very best and go and see a doctor and make sure that you look after yourself. So we've got like about a minute left in the show here. So Joel, like if people want to reach out to you, connect with you, if they want to touch base with you and you know, continue the conversation about health and fitness, and they're too afraid to go to the gym, so they want to meet up with you online and do some workouts, how do they find you?
You find me on Forever Fit by Joel, all one name.com, foreverfitbyjoel@gmail.com, or yeah, that's the two. or on Facebook. Facebook is my name.
Everywhere, right? Forever Fit by Joel.
Forever Fit by Joel.
Want to thank you.
JOLE.
Okay, JOLE.
JOLE.
Definitely want to thank you for coming and hanging out with me once again. Until next month, when we connect again and we talk a little bit more about health and fitness. You know, for again, those of you who are listening online, thanks for hanging out with us. If you feel something's up with your body, something doesn't feel right, go and see a doctor. Get yourself balance. What do you mean balance?
Everything in life is about balance.
Oh yeah.
Everything's balance.
Everything is balance.
Yeah.
Definitely. Go and see your doctor, get yourself checked out, make sure that you're okay, be your own advocate, and get off the couch, get moving. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us this evening. Donna Savage is coming up next with Savage Desires. And I want to thank you. Have a great evening, and take